3 days before with the last two SEC tournaments. What are you talking about to the newer players and saying how much of a grind this is going to be?
Well, I mean, we just talk about just taking one play at a time. We talk about stringing two practices together. So I think everything is so new to them. I think this is kind of a good mentality builder for a tournament like the SEC tournament setup. So we'll see. I think you got to put your players in these kind of situations so you can learn from them. Obviously, we want to win all three games, but we got to take one game at a time.
After looking back at the Ohio State film, what are some of the things that stood out that y'all most need to work on?
I think we need to work on taking care of the ball. I think we need to continue to work on giving our post players the ball when they're open, especially in transition. And I think we need to defensively just try to, we got stops when we needed to get stops, but to give up 80 points it's a lot of points. Obviously, we know, Ohio State is the type of team where you can score a whole lot of points because they're just impatient defenders, and we took advantage of that. But if we can get a couple of more stops, I believe that I think we could have gotten a handle on the game a lot sooner.
Coach, do you think Ohio State was a good starting point, given that you guys were on the road and trying to incorporate your new players as well?
Ohio State's game was it was great. Indicator of measuring ourselves against one of the top 10 teams in the country. Is great, and you go on the road to play a top 10 team and you get a win from an RPI standpoint. So this game will go a long way when it comes to the committee looking at our schedule and seeing that we did go on the road and we did get the win. So it benefits us in a lot of ways besides just winning.
Dawn, I know you always like to target the big girls and get the ball inside. But Kayla is coming off a 37-point performance, and Gray had 24. Have you talked to them and said, that's great, but, I still want our first option to be inside?
Yeah, I mean, they know exactly, what our bread and butter is. And, the stats don't lie. If you still calculate the stats of our post players, you'll see where they're shooting 70, 80%. But the way Alicia and the way Kayla scored, it didn't look like they were just, they didn't take very many ill-advised shots. They took shots within the flow. Our post players touched it. They sometimes kicked it out. So it wasn't like it was like non-existent. They got a feel for the game because if they're not touching the ball, they'll shut down and they'll not rebound. They'll not, do the little things that we need them to do to hold serve in the paint.
You mentioned this getting you ready for the postseason, but just how big is it to be able to cap it off with another, nationally televised matchup against Louisville, right after Thanksgiving?
You talking about Louisville? Yeah, Hampton, yeah, Maine. I mean, I think what we tried to do with our schedule this year is schedule some big opponents. Wherever we could get a game, the better the competition, the better for us. We're trying to play for another number one seed. The way you do that is your non-conference schedule, and we beefed it up, and we put ourselves in a position if we perform well. Obviously, we got Hampton, Maine, and St. Peter's, but Louisville is lurking, another top 10 team in the country to measure ourselves, and I'm just hoping we can take care of home. And then we see what Louisville has to offer us.
Anything else, Coach?
Coach, after this tournament, I guess, what are you hoping your team kind of takes, playing 3 games in 3 days?
I just hope they understand the stamina and the focus that it takes to play 3 games in a row. It's fun. I mean, obviously, they all want to play games, but for us, it's an opportunity for us to simulate what a SEC tournament feels like. It also, gives our players an opportunity to focus in, to feel what it's like to play back-to-back, and then another one on top of that. So I think it's a great learning tool, both mentally and physically.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.